Douglas, will you please take the roll?
Commissioner Burke. Here. Commissioner Dunn.
Here.
Commissioner Arp. Commissioner Gilmetti. Present. Commissioner Bordino. Commissioner Inman.
Here.
Commissioner Kehoe.
Here.
Commissioner Medalza. Commissioner Cavalloni. Here. Chair Alvarado.
Yes.
Number 4.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start out with item 50. Stephen?
Oh, actually, that item will be done by Rick.
Thank you. Rick Cavell here to cover item 50. Commissioners, tab 50 is a yellow replacement book item and is an action item requesting an additional $685,000 in capital to award a construction contract. The project was initially programmed in the shop for construction of standard highway lighting at standard spacing on Route 110 in Los Angeles. Once the project was programmed and the engineering began, it became apparent to the department that additional highway lighting, then originally estimated, was required to illuminate the roadway, on and off ramps, tunnel portals, and retaining walls in this section of the 110 freeway. It also became apparent during the design phase that historic style lighting was required by the State Historic Preservation Office, as this segment of freeway is part of the Arroyo Seco Historic District and bisects a large regional park. Project was allocated in accordance with the Commission's safety project delegation for $1.7 million. 5 bids were received. An additional $685,000 in capital outlay funding is needed to award the construction contract. As communicated in the book item, the department's engineer's estimate was not adequately adjusted to account for the increase in the number of lights and for the more costly historic style highway lighting. Staff recommends the Commission approve this request for additional capital funds to award the construction contract, and department representatives are here and present to answer questions.
Been motion by Tavalloni, second by Burke. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Before we go to item 51, somebody left a phone in the corner last night. So let's not be in the audience yet. We'll announce it later also. Okay.
Commissioners, tab 51 is an action item requesting $618,000 in additional construction capital to award the construction contract for a maintenance station reconstruction of Highway 395 in Mono County. The project is for the reconstruction of the maintenance station located in a very remote section of Mono County. During the development of the engineer's estimate, the department recognized the remote location will have a significant impact on project cost and adjusted the estimate upwards accordingly. In August 2016, the Commission allocated $2.4 million for this project. The project was advertised, 5 bids were received. The lowest bid is 26% higher than the engineer's estimate. The department performed a bid analysis and held discussions with the low bidder to understand the reason why bids were higher than anticipated. The increase is due to costs associated with materials, logistics, and the limited number of specialty subcontractors due to the remote location. Although the department recognized and took steps to adjust the engineer's estimate for location, the adjustment simply wasn't large enough. Staff recommends the Commission approve this request for additional construction capital to award the construction contract, and department representatives are present to answer questions.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dunn, second by Taglioni. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 52.
Commissioners, tab 52 has a yellow replacement book item and is an action item requesting an additional $1.9 million in support programming for completion of the project approval and environmental document phase of the Lagunitas Bridge project on Route 1 in West Marin County. This item was deferred from the December 2016 Commission meeting. The yellow replacement book item includes additional background and supporting information for this request not previously included. The project planning document, which was the basis for the original program cost, reflected a precast concrete replacement bridge requiring a 3-year construction schedule, an adjacent temporary bridge, 4 right-of-way acquisitions, 3 construction easements, and a large footprint with both temporary and permanent impacts. As communicated through the public involvement process, significant concerns were raised regarding the impacts, the construction duration, and extended use of a 1-lane traffic control on a temporary bridge, and those impacts would likely have on the local community, the business, tourism-based economy, emergency response, the environment, and local access to schools and other services. The additional funding will support the work needed to evaluate a range of department-developed feasible alternatives and design elements to arrive at a project that minimizes construction duration, right-of-way needs, traffic, and economic impact on the community, business, and environmental footprint, while providing a bridge that maintains the look and historic character of the community and improves access for both pedestrians and bicycle access with a bridge containing standard lane and shoulders. The department also in the book item describes what has been achieved with the original support funding, which includes most of the technical studies for the draft environmental document and the development of 35% design for multiple alternatives. The additional support programming provides for the completion of the remaining studies necessary to finalize and release the draft environmental document, hold public hearing, respond to comments in coordination with stakeholders on the selection of the preferred alternative. Staff recommends approval of the department's request for additional support programming to complete this phase of project development. Department representatives are present to answer questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll need a motion.
Second.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Keel. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. One no. Item 53.
Yes, Commissioners, item 53 and 54 are airspace leases, 53 with the Golden Gate Bridge District, 54 with the Trans-Bay Joint Powers Authority. The Commission had testimony and hearings on these leases at your San Jose meeting. The Commission imposed certain requirements that they wanted to see in the leases. Those requirements have been incorporated into the leases. The leases are included in your book items, and staff recommends that you approve these leases.
Second.
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Dunn. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 55.
Item 55 is a request to directly negotiate a lease with the Fresno Rescue Mission. The department has tried to lease this particular airspace, but has received no takers. This particular piece of property is really hemmed in by the high-speed rail, by the freeway, and by the rescue mission on both sides. The only viable option is to directly negotiate with the mission and lease out this property to the mission. So staff recommends that you approve this negotiation.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Burke. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 57.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item 57 is an action item to consider the project scope change request for the City of Laguna Hills La Paz Sidewalk Widening Project. First, let me walk you through the items that you should have related to this item. You should have a pink replacement book item from Caltrans. This provides their recommendation, correspondence that they have received on the project, and their technical analysis. You should also have a pink commission book item that has commission staff's recommendation and correspondence that has come to the commission. Finally, you should have another pink book item that includes 2 letters that staff received yesterday morning. This project is a Cycle 1 ATP project that was awarded $478,000 in ATP funds on November 12, 2014 through the MPO component of the ATP. The original scope of this project was to reconstruct sidewalks to meet standard width and ADA standards on the northerly side of La Paz Road from Paseo de Valencia to Grissom Road, and on the southerly side of La Paz Road from Paseo de Valencia to Champlain Road. However, due to increased right-of-way costs and design changes, the city estimates that the project as submitted in their application would cost 3 times the amount of their award. The city is now proposing to only make the improvements on the north side of La Paz Road. So instead of constructing 1,220 feet of sidewalk, the city is proposing to only construct 350 feet of sidewalk. This is about a 70% scope reduction. And you can see in the illustration, the red is the original project. The yellow is the scope that will be retained. The one in the blue outline, that is the scope that is proposed to be removed. As the Commission is aware, the ATP is a highly competitive grant funding program. In the first cycle of the ATP, we received 771 applications and were only able to fund 256 projects. The applications are scored primarily on the project's potential benefits to increase walking and biking and/or increase safety of walking and biking. Commission staff went back and reviewed the original application again, and the application clearly asserts the benefits achieved by the project as a whole. It should be noted as well that all of the pictures included with the application show the conditions on the south side, the side where no improvements will be made at this time. The pictures included with each application are one of the vital pieces of information that the evaluators use to assess the current conditions of the project, the need for the project, and what benefits the project is likely to achieve. With this dramatic of a scope reduction, the project benefits are greatly reduced. Correspondingly, the application score would have been greatly reduced. I want to be clear that neither Commission staff nor Caltrans is questioning the merits of the original project. What we contend is that this is not the same project that was submitted, evaluated, and awarded through a competitive process. Commission staff and Caltrans local assistance staff have worked diligently to find a solution to the project's cost increase while retaining the benefits promised in the application and maintaining the integrity of this competitive program. Caltrans has offered multiple scope alternatives to the city that would have retained the project's benefits. However, the city has declined to pursue any of these alternatives. Also, when this request came before the Commission at the October meeting, the Commission counseled the city to work with their city council to get a firm commitment to fund the south side improvements, thus retaining the original scope. At the December 13th City of Laguna Hills Council meeting, the city committed to widen the south side at the earliest future opportunity when funds become reasonably available. This does not constitute a firm commitment, meaning that there is not an identified funding source with a clear time frame. The Commission cannot maintain the integrity of a competitive grant program if grantees are awarded funding based on a given scope, then are subsequently allowed to deliver a reduced scope. Also, the Commission cannot report on the benefits of the program to the legislature as required in statute if we are not assured that agencies will deliver the projects as committed. Staff recommends the Commission deny the City of Laguna Hills scope change request.
We have one speaker. Bruce Channing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. I am Bruce Channing. I'm the City Manager for the City of Laguna Hills. And I want to just start by saying we truly do appreciate all the hard work that the Commission staff, as well as the Caltrans staff, OCTA staff, all put towards trying to assist us with reframing this project in order to make it acceptable for continuing. We also appreciate that many of you on the Commission even have taken a personal interest in the project and trying to understand it, both its benefits as well as its limitations. And we appreciate the efforts of our Assemblyman Breaux and Senator Bates, who I know have perhaps spoken to some of you as well in support of our project. Admittedly, we're disappointed by the staff recommendation, but not surprised, and I think the staff has presented the issues quite accurately and correctly, that a good deal of effort was put forth between our last visit here and now to try to see if a change in the approach to the project could be undertaken, a redesign that would perhaps get more of the sidewalk widened than is being proposed. And we made a very good faith effort as well to try to see if those suggested changes work for us. They don't. We believe the project as we have designed it is the best approach for our needs and our interests, keeping the full width of the street in its present dimensions being a high priority for us. So again, we understand your staff recommendation. I hope and I would assume you understand that the project itself, the ATP program, was the inducement to us to submit a request for funds and try to achieve a project that's been a longstanding challenge for us to address. And it is that support from you that makes it possible. If we could do it all, we would. But to do the balance of the project and to commit to doing that is a tenfold increase in what we have allocated to the project out of our general fund now. That's another $1 million for us, and it simply is not available, or at least not something we could promise to you with certainty that will be done in the next 5 years. Every possibility it might, but we didn't want to make promises we couldn't assure you that we would keep. So with that, we obviously would appreciate your support of the project. We think the reduced scope does achieve a significant benefit for our community. It does allow for a safe walking condition for the school-aged children and their parents to the elementary school. While I don't recall where all those pictures were that were referenced by your staff, I will say that some of the ones we submitted were on the side that we're trying to improve. And as you see in that picture, the residential area that we're really trying to serve and encourage students to walk to the school is largely, we'll call it on the yellow side, the yellow circle side. That's where the 500-some homes are that school-age kids could walk to school more readily if thought to be a safe experience. I know all of you have probably had kids. I have them. I would not have had my children walk on their own along that 4-foot wide sidewalk to school without an adult being with them. And when there's an adult with them, they can barely walk side by side. So that's the challenge we faced. We wish there was a way to tell you we'd do the rest of the project in short order. We thought that we were taking the right approach by not asking for more money and instead rescoping and downsizing the project to do what we could do with the allotted funds that you'd given us. But we appreciate your efforts, and again, do thank you for all the time you spend in trying to make this project possible.
Thank you. Any questions?
Staff recommendation. Second.
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Tavaloni. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I have a moment as well, just to commend District 12. Caltrans really stepped up to work a lot of hours on this thing to help the city of Laguna Hills, as well as OCTA, and even they could not find additional funding to help this project. So it is a tough issue, and I think our staff continues to stand ready to assist the city in making this sidewalk as safe as possible. There's some hard choices that need to be made, I think, by the city, and I look forward to future successes here. But on this program, this staff recommendation is the right way to go. So thank you.
Very good. Item 58.
Commissioners, item 58 is an action item for the amendment of 15 new projects for the 2016 shop. The new projects are 5 emergency damage projects, 4 safety projects, 1 culvert replacement, and 5 projects to replace obsolete or broken transportation management systems. All projects are consistent with reservations established in the commission-adopted 2016 shop. Staff recommends your approval.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Kehoe. Questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 59, Don.
Yes, Commissioners, item 59 is an action item. This request is to amend the Campus Parkway TCRP project in Merced County has been reviewed and found consistent with the program guidelines. This amendment will allow a portion of Segment 2 to proceed to construction in fiscal year 17-18. Staff recommends approval.
So moved.
Motion by Dunn, second by Inman. Questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 60.
Commissioners, item 60 is a request to add to allocate one minor project valued at $538,000. This project was not included in the June 2016 approved fiscal year 16-17 minor project list. Therefore, it requests an allocation from the commission. Staff has reviewed the project and recommends your approval.
Second?
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Dunn. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 61.
Commissioners, item 61 is an action item requesting the allocation of 13 SHOP projects valued at $46.87 million from the commission-approved 2016 SHOP. All projects are delivered and presented for allocation. The projects have been reviewed by staff and recommend the commission approve the allocation requests.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Burke. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Was that Franny? Or is that Yvonne? I thought it was Yvonne.
It was Yvonne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Item 62.
Commissioners, item 62 is an action item. This is a request for a locally administered STIP project of $105,000 for the Petrified Forest Road Intersection Improvement Project in Napa County. Staff has reviewed this allocation request, and it is consistent with STIP guidelines and adopted program. Staff recommends your approval.
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Taglioni. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item.
Tab 63 is an action item. This is a financial allocation request for locally administered STIP projects. There is a change to this book item. Project 2 and 3 on your attachment has been withdrawn. Staff recommends you approve, with that change, staff recommends you approve $7,518,000 for one STIP project off the highway system and 4 PPM projects. This request is consistent with STIP guidelines and adopted program. Staff recommends your approval.
Motion by Inman. Who was the second? Joe? Tavaloni, second. Questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Excuse me. Opposed? Ayes have it. Is 64 still on?
Item 64 has been withdrawn.
Okay. 65.
Item 65 is an action item. This is a financial allocation request to increase the local assistance federal lump sum allocation by $96,838,000. This request is to account for the August redistribution as well as the federal fund change from federal funds to state funds. With that, staff recommends you approve this increase to the local assistance federal lump sum allocation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dunn, second by Keyhole. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 66.
Item 66 is an action item. This is a financial allocation request to increase the local assistance state lump sum allocation by $7,700,000. This is the exchange from the federal funds to the state funds in the prior item. Staff recommends you approve the increase for the local assistance lump sum allocation for state funds.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Burke. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 67.
Yes, Commissioners, tab 67 is an action item for the allocation of 2 TCRP rail projects. Project number 1 on the attachment has been withdrawn as noted on the change list. Project number 2 has been reviewed and found consistent with the program guidelines. Staff recommends approval of project number 2.
Second?
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Dunn. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 68.
Item 68 is an action item for the allocation of the locally administered Campus Parkway TCRP project. The request has been reviewed and found consistent with the program guidelines, and staff recommends approval.
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Inman. Further
I just have one question. What is the amount that's remaining available?
For the whole program?
Someone had inquired that.
So back in June, we had received an additional $148 million as a loan repayment. And as of an estimated amount remaining out of that amount, of the $148 million, is approximately $40 million. And that's for Tier 2 projects. And so Commission staff is looking at the individual projects as a whole to see if what additional funds we can come up with and have a possibly another book item or status update coming back in March.
So is that available or is it already committed?
So the $40 million is an estimated amount as to what could be available.
What could be available?
What could
Okay.
be available, yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 69, Lori.
Commissioners, item 69 is an action item to allocate ATP funds to 21 projects. Staff has reviewed these requests. They are consistent with the ATP guidelines and the adopted program. Therefore, staff recommends your approval.
So moved.
Motion by Dunn, second by Gilmetti. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 70.
Commissioners, item 70 has been withdrawn.
Item 71. Yes.
I just had a question. I know it's been withdrawn, but it brought to my attention this Northwestern Pacific rail line. Are we going to get an update on what's happening with our lovely rail system up there?
Can we get at the next meeting somebody to come and talk to us about the choo-choo?
And
This thing just keeps going.
if I could just expand on that, Commission staff has been in conversations with District 1 at Caltrans requesting for a update from the North Coast Railroad and what's happening up there and an update on the business plan and the operations. So
Okay.
That would
we
be
will.
nice. Thank you.
Could we get that next meeting? Okay, thank you. Next item.
Item 71, this is a financial allocation request for $2 million for a locally administered transit project in the STIP program in Monterey County. Staff has reviewed this request and is consistent with STIP guidelines as well as the adopted program. Staff recommends your approval.
Second?
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Dunn. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 72.
Item 72 is an action item. This is a financial allocation advancement request for a state-administered rail project in the STIP program for $23 million. The project is the Stockton to Escalon Double Track Project, Segment 4 in San Joaquin County. Staff has reviewed this advancement request and found it consistent with the revised advance policy the Commission adopted at the December Commission meeting. The request is consistent with STIP guidelines and adopted program. Staff recommends your approval.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Inman. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item.
This is the financial allocation request of $10,838,000 to 3 projects in the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program. This is for the Metro Red Line and Purple Line core capacity improvements in Los Angeles County, and the Sign Line component, Southern California Zero Emission Regional Consortium in Riverside County. And number 3 is the AVTA, Southern California Zero Emissions Regional Consortium in various counties. Staff recommends the approval of these 3 allocations.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burke, second by Inman. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item.
Item 74 is an action item. This is a request to rescind the allocation the Commission approved in May 2016. This is for a project in the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program for $2,000 to the Altamont Corridor Expressway Side Power Project in San Joaquin County. The project was not ready when they originally requested the allocation, as they were unable to award the third-party contract. They need additional time, and at this point, they are requesting to rescind this allocation.
Motion by Gilmetti, second by Kehoe. Further questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 75.
Commissioners, item 75 is a request to extend the period of contract award for one STIP project and two SHOP projects. The two SHOP projects are requesting 3 months each. The staff has reviewed, excuse me. The one SHOP project has 6 months, the STIP project has 6 months, and the remaining SHOP project has 3 months. Commission staff has reviewed that and is in agreement with that request. Staff recommends your approval.
Second?
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Dunn. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 76.
Commissioners, this is an action item to extend the period of contract award for ATP projects. Project number 2, the City of Huntington Park State Street Complete Street Park project has been withdrawn. With that change noted, staff has reviewed the extension requests in item 76 and recommends their approval.
So moved?
Motion by Dunn. Is there a second? Tavaloni. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
The Huntington Park project, is that one we heard the testimony on, that the people were late in getting it together, or is that project that we heard a couple of months ago that you were still looking at, is that one of those that's actually being allowed to extend? I thought it was Huntington Park.
Let me check. This project it's been withdrawn with the time extension because subsequent to being awarded, it was found that the business community does not support the project, so the project is actually going to lapse.
I see. This is not the one where they were late.
No.
Okay, all right. That's
Further
the only question I
questions?
had.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next project, 77.
Item 77, these items are post-fact requests to extend the period of contract award for ATP projects. Commissioners, these requests are post-fact requests because what is happening is that the agencies are getting their requests in prior to their award deadline, but not soon enough to meet the agenda deadline. So these requests are rolling into the next meeting. We don't generally like to approve post-fact time extensions, so staff will work with Caltrans to determine if there needs to be any process improvements to limit these requests. Staff recommends your approval.
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Burke. Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 78.
Commissioners, item 78 is a request for an extension of the project completion time. This request is to extend the period of project completion for the Prop 1B local seismic bridge seismic retrofit on ramp project on the east side of Yerba Buena Island Tunnel at the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. The staff has reviewed this request, and the request is for 20 months to address large truck turning movements on the island. Staff recommends your approval.
Second?
Motion by Tavaloni, second by Dunn. Question, Mr. Gilmetti.
Yeah, Bijan, are you out there? What's happening with the delays on these ramps? I want to finish the bridge someday.
Good morning. The Transportation Authority, who is actually leading the effort on the construction of the ramps to the island.
So this is the city and county of San Francisco's
Yes.
responsibility?
Yes.
Are you overseeing the design, or what's happening?
We've been working with them very closely.
Is there a problem? I mean, it just keeps dragging on and on.
No, they just continue to work with TIDA, the development authority at the island, and also coordinating with our projects on the island itself. And so it's a small space that all of us are trying to occupy at the same time. So we're trying to manage all of the project effectively. And so there's give and take different places to
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, once again, there was a phone found in the back corner. It'll be kept, nobody claims it, we'll just take it back to the office. As we adjourn, we want to talk about Senator Calais. Former State Senator Lucy Calais passed away on Wednesday at the age of 94. Senator Calais served on the City Council from 78 to 82, the Assembly from 82 to 89, and the Senate from 89 to 86. As a member of the Assembly, she helped form the Bipartisan Women's Caucus and was a pro-choice rights advocate. Long before her political career, she was an Army intelligence officer, serving during World War II, and served on the staff of the U.S. delegation to the first United Nations General Assembly in 1946, and later worked for the CIA. Inducted in the San Diego County Women's Hall of Fame in 2002, Senator Calais was described by colleagues as funny, a marvelous maverick, whip-smart, and full of integrity. We adjourn this commission meeting in honor of Senator Calais with a moment of silence. Thank you. Stand adjourned.